everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 805, Wimbledon Club World Cup betting scandals. Hello, Big Chillians. Welcome back to the Big Chill Podcast. Frank joins us with Eddie. Eddie, I think we need to tell the listeners that you have finally cracked under the heat and you've purchased yourself an air conditioning unit.
Portable
Has it
air
arrived
conditioning
yet?
unit. No, it's supposed to be arriving tomorrow, which is great because it is 41 degrees here today. So in Fahrenheit, it's 102, 103 degrees, something like that. It's awful. It's really awful. But it's arriving tomorrow. I'm not sure. It's a portable air conditioner, so I'm not setting expectations too high. I don't think it's going to knock like 40 degrees down to 22. But if it can
you can literally put it right in front of your face and just sit there for 5 hours.
No, it can definitely take the edge off, and certainly for sleeping, which is the big thing I care about. I can get through the day. It's not too bad. But we're on high alert warning. We've got red alert status for weather in Paris today. So you're not allowed to do outside organized sports. You're like highly discouraged from commuting to work. The speed limit has been reduced.
Oh my God.
The speed limit has been reduced by 20 kilometers an hour on all roads.
Because the roads are going to melt?
I think they just think that faster traffic adds to the overall temperature, plus it discourages people from driving, and so then that helps to reduce the temperature.
That's a weird rule.
so yeah, it's
coming from the same people who think turning on the air conditioning though will get you sick. It's really hot, but don't turn on the fans. That will give you a sore throat.
I did speak about that with a colleague yesterday, where I said I had to buy an air conditioning unit, and they said they're not French, but I was like, French people think air conditioning is going to make you sick. And his response was, well, you got to pick your poison, and I would rather die in the cold than die in the heat. So if it's between the two of them, I know which one I want.
Yeah. If you're dying from a sore throat from an air conditioning unit, then maybe you don't deserve it.
I'm literally sitting here sweating. It's awful. It's just disgusting. Like I'm
freezing in the basement.
Yeah, I'm sure. I have to change my clothes multiple times a day. Like any outing outside involves changing a t-shirt immediately afterwards. I'm going to go to the pool later on, which will probably be
work from the pool.
Yeah, it'll probably be 35 degrees based on the fact that they continue to heat it. So
what's the rule with electronics in the pool? Can you get like a little floating desk?
Well,
that would be amazing.
I was there on
floating desk.
I was there on Saturday, and there were a lot of kids with like ice cream in the pool, and that annoyed me.
No, that's a no.
That was. I did keep an eye on them, and they did not spill anything, so they were. But still,
what are you, like the guardian of the pool?
I'm the unofficial lifeguard.
You throwing like yellow flags at them?
Mm-hmm. Blow my whistle. Show them a yellow card, red card if they do it again.
It's like rip them out of the pool.
Yeah. But no, it's hot. It's tough. It's a terrible, terrible heat wave. And unfortunately, yes, tomorrow is supposed to be as hot as it is today. So assuming the air conditioner shows up, then that will be a benefit. But it immediately gets like 12 degrees cooler on Thursday. Again, I don't always trust the weather forecast when it comes to those types of drop-offs, but it does mean the air conditioner might get one immediate use and then might not be turned on again for a few days.
Well, listen. If I know something about France, it's not getting any colder over the years, so it'll get its use.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. And we are then away for multiple days in July in hotels, so also less of a concern during that time, as I'm now 10 days away from the Oasis concert that I'm attending. So,
what if that's 41?
Well, that's outdoors. That's gonna be tough. Hopefully, the disability section has a big fan blowing on us.
Is that your disability? You sweat a lot. I
Be honest,
overheat.
to be honest with you, if this air conditioning unit does not arrive tomorrow, between now and next Friday, I may have a disability. Like there is a chance my brain will just fry, and I will just be wheeled into this Oasis concert with just a vegetable status with my speech.
It's a shame that one of our friends of the podcast couldn't hook you up with his as he's leaving the country soon. But I think he has a full unit, right? He has like a real air conditioning unit.
Yeah, which I looked
like built into the wall.
So obviously I'm renting, so I can't do the full build into the wall. There were window units that I could have got, which obviously significantly outperform the portable ones. The killer though is the windows in this apartment are open like doors. You pull them out, and so
they don't
the window
slide up
unit,
or down or side to side.
yeah,
They swing. They're swing windows.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the window units don't work. And so that was the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, that
I would have happily got a window unit. They build really like cool ones now that aren't too big, that sort of like are saddles that sit on either side of the window frame, but unfortunately not possible.
Yeah. I mean, the other option maybe you could have done was get a massive one that fits through your entire sliding door to your little patio.
Yeah. Or the other option is just setting myself on fire. That is that is something I have considered multiple times at night as I slowly just sweat through my bed. That has been something I have considered. I also feel sorry because obviously have a relatively young puppy who's not experienced the world, and what an awful way to start to see what the world is like, to just be in sweltering heat. Admittedly, the puppy gets her own fan, gets ice cubes served regularly throughout the day to cool herself down. She also gets to lay in the bathroom, which is actually probably 3 or 4 degrees cooler, and you have the tile flooring, so that sort of helps her out. But still, this must be her questioning what life is like if, covered in fur. This is what the future holds.
But at least she's getting ice cubes.
No one feeds me ice cubes. Pours water over my head when it seems a little bit too warm.
I still don't. What kind of blows my mind though is how inefficient Amazon is in France compared to the United States. Because I'm assuming you bought it from Amazon.
I did. I bought it from Amazon, even though it wasn't the best deal, just because the delivery time was the fastest. So I bought
But
it
it's still like 3 days delivery.
I bought it on Sunday and it's arriving tomorrow. And the thing that annoys me is yesterday nothing happened. I've been monitoring this delivery, and obviously it's just sitting in an Amazon warehouse. So it's not like there's no third party involved in this transaction. And it hasn't. Monday, nothing happened in the status. And then today it has sort of started to be prepared, and then delivery is tomorrow. But we did just lose 24 hours seemingly for no reason. And you know what? What are these delivery drivers doing? I know it's 40 degrees, but they should be out driving around
with their air conditioning in their truck,
hissing in their bottles, and then lugging my 35-kilogram air conditioning unit up 2 flights of stairs.
Yeah. Amazon in France, man, so slow. For reference, I bought an electric lawnmower off of Amazon yesterday at 1:30 p.m. and it's going to arrive the next day by 9 a.m. Less than 24 hours, free delivery.
I think it depends. It does depend on the product. I bought a pair of socks on Sunday and they were delivered on Monday through Amazon. And I bought a pair of swimming goggles yesterday that were delivered today. So I think smaller items, they can get to you within.
This is a lawnmower.
I know. But I think there's obviously where things are stored probably varies a bit more here. But the big items, yeah, you don't get next day delivery on anything sort of really heavy. Speaking of delays, rules about things not taking place. I don't know if you saw the drama last night at Wimbledon with Taylor Fritz, who managed to come back from 2 points down in his 4th set tiebreak and forced a 5th set. Now, that was about 10:15 local time that it would have gone to the 5th set. And the rule at Wimbledon is there is a strict 11 p.m. curfew.
Yep.
And the players were then presented with the decision of, do you want to start the fifth set and risk having it stopped and then coming back tomorrow, or do you want to just wait and start the fifth set tomorrow? Taylor Fritz obviously had all of the momentum, having won the last couple sets. He wanted to keep going. His opponent was less keen and decided that he wanted to come back. And Fritz was really annoyed by this, which, like...
So well, then what happens?
They come back today, so they're playing in an hour or so today to finish the fifth set.
Wait, so if one person chooses one and one person chooses the other, they go with how does that work?
They had to both agree that they were willing to keep playing, which makes sense, right? Because otherwise you're forcing someone.
Nah, I don't like that.
Well, neither did Taylor Fritz, who was mouthing to
I'm on Taylor Fritz's side.
He was mouthing to his box, like, I did everything I could. It's not my choice. I don't have a say in this, and then I literally saw on Instagram, someone post an Instagram sort of reaction to this happening, which by someone who's does not have that many followers. And Taylor Fritz had commented on it saying, wasn't up to me. So not only was he annoyed, but he was annoyed enough that he was then searching for himself on Instagram, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Late at night and commenting on various posts. That's great preparation for the fifth set today. The other guy was fast asleep, getting his rest on Instagram, and Taylor Fritz was just raging on Instagram.
I saw Daniel Medvedev had a good post or good quote. He was playing someone, I think, who apparently must play him very well. And he made the comment of, like, to himself, but basically saying, I think it was like in between sets, should I play like this all the time and make millions? No, I'll just do this once a year against this guy. That's such a great comment when someone like shows up to play you really well time after time, but sucks the rest of the time. It was a really good quote. He comes up with some pretty funny shit.
He was playing Benjamin Bondi. That was not between sets. That was between points that he made that. He ranted to himself. And the Bonzi they've played 3 times, and Medvedev has won only one of them now. But the thing that's interesting is that Bonzi has beaten him twice at Grand Slams, at majors. And both times that he's beaten him, so he last beat him in 2017. Admittedly, Medvedev retired hurt in that, but was down 2-1 and a breakdown in the fourth, so was on course to lose. But Bonzi, Medvedev has now twice in his career lost back-to-back in the first rounds of majors. And both times, the second time he lost was to Bonzi. So that's his sort of... And yeah, I mean, it was obviously frustrating for Medvedev. And I think also he was not particularly enjoying the heat, which, is not ideal conditions.
A lot of heat in Russia, I guess.
No, well, he does live in Monaco, which is also why he ranted in French, which I think threw some people off because he was complaining. He was playing a French player and then he was speaking out loud in French. He's lived in Monaco for the last 10 years or so, speaks fluent French. But yeah, I guess he should be reasonably used to warm playing conditions.
I guess speaking of pathetic results, we can just quickly touch on the FIFA Club World Cup, which is in its knockout stages now. A first round of the knockout stage, round of 16. And the first few days pretty much went to form. I had a very telling stat that I wanted to bring up here, and that was the first half of PSG Inter Miami, sorry. Inter Miami with Messi and Suarez, and they're just so good. And oh my God, in the first half, PSG outscored them 4-0. The XG was 1.7 for PSG, 0.00 for Inter Miami. Miami had 0 total shots, 0 shots on target, 0 big chances, 0 corner kicks, compared to 6 shots on targets and 10 shots total for PSG in the first half. Admittedly, Inter Miami then I think went on and had 1 or 2 shots total for the match. But we were talking about this, I think, last week, about how people were saying, like, oh, look at all these South American teams are hanging with these European clubs. But then when a European club actually comes out and plays decent football, probably still only at 80%. Dembele didn't even play. He wasn't even on the pitch. They still have pretty dominant performances over some of these clubs. And then fast forward to last night, where both Man City and Inter Milan both lost in the knockout stage, which is absolutely pathetic.
I mean, I don't think we can even call it pathetic, because these are just glorified preseason friendlies. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, especially you have Inter Milan, whose season ended relatively late with the Champions League final, and also who definitely were suffering in the latter stages of the season anyway. Their form kind of dropped off in the final month. But even with Manchester City, who are then trying to get a lot of new players up to speed, I wouldn't be surprised if there was just an internal conversation at some point which said, as long as we make it to the knockout rounds, we've made the money that we see as being useful from this tournament, and it doesn't really matter what happens beyond that. And so how determined they were to win those matches, I don't know. But
maybe you say that, but as a player, I don't think you're going out there being like, I'm going to lose this game, especially when you have players like Haaland out there. It wasn't as if they had their whole second string out. You had
let me put it
half
this
of the
way.
team was their starters.
Let me tell you how you might think. I don't mind if I lose this game. If you then get told, hey, do you want to play 3 more matches in this tournament, which even if you win it, will add absolutely nothing to your reputation. It will be the 105th line.
You're talking about Chelsea loves to say that they're FIFA Club World Cup champions.
Or probably got told, hey guys, you know what? When we get knocked out of this, we're going to do like 5 days in Los Angeles, or 5 days in Miami, or 5 days in Las Vegas, whatever it is that they probably have tied on to the back end of this trip. And you know what? The sooner we get out, that might be 6 days. It might be 7 days. We'll do some preseason training, but you'll also have time to spend with your family. These are guys who are now playing football, 49 weeks of the year, basically.
Yeah.
They don't care about the money. So I can totally understand the idea, like, how much are you going to chase that ball, really run those extra miles? And really, your only hope is to get through this tournament unscathed and treat it as preseason preparation. Like, for American listeners, this is the equivalent of telling NFL teams that instead of playing preseason
2 weeks after the end of the year.
Yeah. Like, they're then going to play in a random tournament in Saudi Arabia, where all that happens is that the owners of the NFL teams get huge sums of money, and that otherwise it contributes nothing to. I mean, I know the players will have financial incentives, but still, like, it's not moving the needle for them. And I don't know. I have to admit, I was. There's been a lot of backlash to the Club World Cup, including from Jurgen Klopp, who basically called it a joke. And that got a response from Kava Solokol, however you pronounce his name, the Sky Sports reporter, who basically said, it would be hard for me to imagine a more out-of-touch response to Jurgen Klopp's criticism of the tournament, because his response was, well, who isn't unhappy with this? All the teams that have made money. And look how much more relaxed Pep Guardiola is on the touchlines compared to how he was at the end of the Premier League season. And just think about, like, Chelsea, Manchester City facing potential financial restrictions, and now they've had this massive cash injection that's helping them. Or I bet Jurgen Klopp, now that he works at Red Bull, if RB Salzburg are involved in the tournament, he won't complain about the money that comes from that. It's like, yes, the money, everyone understands this is huge cash injections for these clubs, but it's arbitrary in that it's just FIFA deciding who gets to benefit from this huge cash flow. And then on top of it, all it's doing is increasing the gap between the clubs that then get to attend this tournament and the clubs that don't. And no one cares about the actual football that's being played. You may as well just spin a wheel at the end of every season and then go, hey, 40 clubs get 15 million pounds. We're doing a European, like a FIFA lottery, just a raffle, buy a few tickets and we'll see. Maybe your club will get lucky and maybe they'll get 100 million pounds for absolutely no reason. And that's basically all this is.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, I have still yet to watch 1 minute of this. And I don't even know where it's on. Like, and I don't think it's even on in America. I don't think you can even find it.
It's not on CBS. Is it on DAZN everywhere? Because DAZN
It might be.
have obviously with that fake bid that they did because they got pumped full of cash by the Saudis. I mean, and you also had the joke, the kind of farcical outcome with the Chelsea match where the match ended up taking 4 hours because of weather delays.
Yeah, I saw that.
And look, there's legitimate reasons to be worried about the impact that could have on the World Cup next summer. Like the US has really strict weather rules when it comes to sporting events for a country that supposedly hates sort of regulations, restrictions, government interference and things. One thing you do really want to do is tell people when a little bit of lightning means that everyone has to rush indoors. But the strong likelihood that a World Cup match next summer is impacted by weather disruption is, fairly high, which imagine that's the World Cup final. And with 25 minutes to go, there's a 2-hour delay. Like
I think this was like 5 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean? Like you could legitimately just have some massive pause between, which, in other sports is a bit more manageable than it is in football. And yeah, I don't think that's the strongest reason for not awarding the United States the World Cup, but I think it's definitely something that has to be looked into more as to how it could best be avoided.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, I had was it 2 days ago? I got woken up to a 12:45 a.m. alarm on my phone with sirens outside of a tornado warning.
Tornadoes.
And we had to go down into the basement and hang out in the basement bedroom for 30, 45 minutes until it passed.
How much do you trust your basement? If you had a direct hit from a tornado?
I think we'd be fine.
Oh, really? Wow, that's confidence. That's
Yeah.
confidence. I do have to say, looking at the backdrop of your basement at the moment, you've done such a good job of clearing boxes, but now it appears boxes have returned.
They have returned. I don't even know how they got there. I came back from Ascot and more boxes appeared. Yeah, I don't know what happened. But we I mean, we are still not even fully unpacked, but we have half of our living room is still full of empty cardboard boxes I have to take to the dump to get rid of them. So that's next week's agenda. But yeah,
I mean, maybe you get hit by a tornado and the boxes just get ripped away.
That'd be amazing.
Problem solved.
Nice. Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, the tornado warning was a new one. That's the first one. So that's actually like the third one we've had since I've been here. But that's the first one at night, getting woken up to the sirens from the outside, actually, which was crazy. But no tornado touchdown in Minneapolis, so it wasn't that bad. It was just outside of Minneapolis, one had touchdown.
Oh, who cares about those people?
No, not that I don't care about them, but it wasn't as close as like an outdoor siren makes me think like I'm just so used to the movie Twister. An outdoor siren means it's like literally 2 houses down. But I guess the warning systems have gotten better since the 1994 movie Twister. Because that was a big plot point of that movie, is that they don't have adequate warning systems.
Well, I mean, I guess you could be critical and say the warning system still isn't adequate because it's not accurate. And so you may eventually decide, this is boy who cried wolf with these tornado warnings. I will not go downstairs into my basement. And next thing you know, you're Wizard of Oz off to another dimension.
Maybe. We'll have to see. But and then I guess the other football bit is the Gold Cup is also going on, and actually had the quarterfinals in Minneapolis. I could have went this weekend, but I decided not to go, and might have missed a dandy of a match. USA beat Costa Rica in penalties. I don't know if you saw this.
I have to admit, the only Gold Cup result I saw any mention of was Canada losing.
Yeah,
and that was the only one that sort of got any real coverage.
Well, USA beat Costa Rica in penalties in one of the worst penalty shootouts I've seen in recent memory. There was multiple misses, multiple just terrible attempts. The last attempt that the USA keeper saved was like a weak shot just right at him. And there was no deception. It wasn't like one of those ones where the guy comes up and runs up and pretends and then kind of tries to go down the middle. He just ran straight and kicked it like 60% right down the middle, and the keeper kind of just sat there. It was really pathetic. But there was a lot of talk about how this is a great victory for Team USA, and they're showing so much resilience in this tournament. They beat the 59th ranked FIFA team, Costa Rica, in penalties. And they're now playing Guatemala in the semis, who aren't even ranked in the top 100 in FIFA.
Still, this UST.
It is amazing how optimistic like the USA is, and it blows my mind that they just can't be more realistic about like their football club. Like I get that the team wasn't even a good team they're putting on right now. I mean, like I don't think maybe 3 starters are on this team right now. None of the high profile players have come back to play, and that's fine. Like say that. Say like for the second string Team USA, it was an okay effort. They showed that maybe they could be a good substitute players. But don't have a 6-page article on ESPN saying that this is really showing what they're going to bring to 2026 on home soil. Like it is not a great effort. This is it's fucking Costa Rica. They have less people in Costa Rica than the United States does in Florida.
The only thing I push back on that is historically Costa Rica a better footballing country than the United States. So, that's where you could say at least Costa Rica, a team that does qualify for World Cups, does put in reasonable performances at those World Cups.
How many Costa Rica players do you think play in the Premier League?
At the moment, I guess Paulo Wanchop's not still playing.
How many do you think play in the top 7 domestic leagues?
Let's have a look. So they have Keylor Navas, who, admittedly now plays in Argentina.
Was good 7 years ago.
But has had a strong career across European football. They then have, this is annoying because this list doesn't give me clubs, so I'm having to figure out who's who. There's a few players here playing. I mean, Kenneth Vargas plays for Hearts in the SPL. That's pretty impressive.
He must be exotic up there.
Yeah,
he's the Costa Rican.
Yeah, no, there's some players here playing at reasonable standards. I mean, they'd be on a par with the U.S. team, basically. I think if you really look through this in terms of where they're playing. Not if you bring over but they're probably also, Costa Rica are probably also missing some players. The problem with with the Gold Cup taking place right now is, if you play for any of the clubs taking part in the Club World Cup, and that was the thing that was funny about Canada getting knocked out, because Jesse Marsh had the quote sort of pre-Gold Cup of saying, every player I called to take part in the Gold Cup said they would, and they're here, and we should be really delighted about that. And then they lost. And then he said, well, we didn't even have half of our players.
Well, he was calling already the second string. He ignored the first string.
What a compliment to the players you called up. You won't be, don't worry, guys, you won't be getting a call next time once the big boys are back.
But it's just frustrating. I think I wish people were just more realistic with expectations about this team. Like, you should not be barely dragging through against Costa Rica and now Guatemala. Let's see how they do against Guatemala, who, again, aren't in the top 100.
It's fine. Knockout football and tournaments, you can put a positive spin, which is, we've spoken about this with England. If you're going to be successful in major tournaments, you're going to have at least one tight run match. You're going to underperform in a knockout stage, and you do need to show the sort of grit to grind it out, win in extra time, win on penalties. You will not win a major tournament without that sort of those capabilities, that characteristic. And it's fine to say there's some positives we can take out from this, but that was overall an incredibly negative performance, and things have to get better 12 months from now. And I think that's the problem from an outsider's perspective, looking at the U.S. sort of fan base, is that they're eternally too optimistic, and then also very annoyed when you're sort of realistic about where they stand in the international scene, but then also don't hold themselves to the standard that they would need to if you had the if you thought of them as highly as they do, if you see what I mean. So they'll tell you, no, we're a top 10 team in the world. Okay. But then when you do struggle against the 60th ranked team in the world, they turn around and say, yeah, but I mean, we're an up-and-coming footballing nation, so this is a pretty good result. We're building. It's like, so
Yeah.
which one is it? Are you building and you're up-and-coming, or are you top 10? Like, and basically, no matter what criticism you throw at them, the response is the same of either give us more respect because we're better than you say we are, or give us more respect, we need time to get better. Like, that's the thing I think that is frustrating when you kind of look at what the reaction is. And I think you do yourselves a disservice, because I do think at a certain stage, there has to be a degree of accountability. Like, that's always been a criticism of Save with England, of where you need to say minimum expectations are X. And if we don't achieve those, then something's going wrong. And for the US, the minimum expectations when it comes to the Gold Cup should just be winning the Gold Cup every time. Like, there's
Winning.
no excuses.
Yeah. There isn't. I mean, you have Mexico and Canada.
Yeah, who are challenges. And if you lose in the final to one of those teams, okay. Or even in a semifinal to one of those teams, fair enough. Like, assuming that the performance against that opposition is good. Like, I'm not saying that the US should always beat Mexico, and Canada at the moment are pretty decent. So, if they have their full team, but still, there has to be greater sort of honesty in the assessment of where the US men's team stands at the moment.
And I guess speaking of England, worth noting, the under 21s won the Euros for the second consecutive Euro tournament.
Yeah, back-to-back European champions. It's cool. I mean, it's nice for them. I don't know what it means. I don't think we see a lot of transfer of success, like of youth teams, the sort of under 21s or under 18s to.
Yeah, it's because you let fucking old man Harry Kane stay out there till he's fucking 50. Time to replace him with the young guns, Eddie.
Look, I think Harry Kane's fine. I think I'm more concerned about Jordan Henderson still being involved in the England squad. Fine with Harry Kane, but
how about replace 45-year-old wheelchair Kyle Walker?
Yeah, but no, but I think it's one of those things, right? It's still good to see. What worries me a little bit is that what Southgate did so well, right, is that you were playing with exactly the same style throughout the youth teams as it then fed into the senior team. And that was part of the reason why young players came into the Southgate squad and did so well. And Tuchel is playing completely differently to what we saw from how Lee Carsley had this England under-21 team set up for this tournament. So there's no way you can't say, hey, you see how that central midfielder was performing for the England under-21s? He's capable of playing that same role for the England senior team, because they're not asking the players to play in the same style. And so that is, look, as you well know, I had a love-hate relationship with Gareth Southgate, but I also think he deserved more credit than he got for turning the England sort of team around overall, even if he fell short in ways that he shouldn't have in crucial big matches. But the kind of transformation from a cultural perspective was huge. Tuchel at the moment is undoing a lot of the good work that Gareth Southgate did. And the test will be, obviously, if he wins a World Cup, then all will be forgotten and all will be forgiven. But
yeah, I would say so.
No, but that doesn't. You can still have a good outcome getting to it the wrong way. And I think with Tuchel, it worries me in terms of the senior players he has involved, some of the younger players that he's leaving out, the way in which he's getting the team to play, like all of that. It feels eerily reminiscent of where England were in the mid 2010s. You can still succeed because there's enough good players, and so like they can overcome the poor management, but at the moment it worries me.
Never be happy. Even you can win a World Cup and you still won't be happy.
No, yes, that would make me deeply unhappy because it will reduce my future happiness. So that will be, that's something I don't want to happen. But yeah. Speaking of people not being happy, there's an NBA, FBI investigation into NBA player Malik Beasley for seemingly potentially match
Is it
fixing.
strip club related? Oh
no, he kind of got done by Instagram. Like, this is a weird way in which people sharing weird sort of conspiracy theory videos in sports. So a video kind of went viral of him in the 2023-2024 season, I think it was, or maybe it was even before that, of his team was down 9. The point spread was 7.5. The opposition team made a free throw to go up 9 with like 5 seconds left. And normally in an NBA game, you're down 9, you get the ball back, you just dribble out the final 5 seconds. You don't even attempt a shot. At most, maybe you heave it from the half, like from midcourt. But he sprints down the court with the ball and dunks it.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
To And so theories have come out that he was either betting on it himself or at least encouraging people to bet. I don't
This
know.
is just some asshole who got a bad beat because he took the spread, and got fucked, and then just complained endlessly for months on Reddit and Instagram, and now is causing an investigation.
Basically. And it shows a video of him standing on like when the free throw is being taken and he's sort of looking confused and sort of looking at stuff, which people are assuming is him working out what the points difference
Trying to
is.
do math.
Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't look great. He's also not helped by that he himself follows like FanDuel and stuff on Instagram. So if he obviously has an interest in sports betting, I still think if you were going to fix games, that isn't the way I would do it. Like
But he's betting on himself, right? In a
yeah,
way.
to not lose by more than 7.5 points. Yeah, it shows total confidence.
Yep. He's
Yeah,
taking his team to win.
At least it's that. It isn't him fouling someone with 5 seconds left to send them to the line. That would be way worse.
Or dunking in his own net.
No, which did happen at the weekend. I don't know if you saw that
I did see that.
Yeah, the Cameroonian player against Australia. But where's the investigation into that guy?
It's so tough though, because with all the incentives players now have, like I kind of like, I don't know if he's fixing or not, but as a player, if I'm going to get a free 2 points and no one will care. It's not as if the other team gives a shit. It's not as if anyone really cares. You just got a free 2 points there. And who knows, maybe that adds up to your total at the end of the year and gets you $500,000. Fuck it. I take 2 free points.
We never know. No one puts in any attempt to stop him. It has to be said. He just runs down the court and dunks. Like there's no one tries anything. You could maybe he was pissed off either with his teammates for their effort. Maybe the other team really pissed him off and he just had enough and thought, I'm going to get 2 free points. You're right. Maybe there's some incentive he has in mind, whether it's points per game average, total season points, individual season high, like whatever it could have been, where he thought that like, well, if I can get 2 points for free, and that might be the thing if he was thinking in his head of, oh, hold on a second, 2 more points could be useful and I can probably get a freebie here. I think that's far more likely than the idea, because what I don't get about this, we saw that with the Pistons player, also a Pistons player who got in trouble for that when his friends were hammering his under and then he was like subbing himself out after 1 minute, and you get caught so quickly by the analysis that the bookmakers themselves are doing, where they see irregular betting patterns. Like people talk about this all the time. When you read these articles, they're saying, oh yeah, well, these players are probably betting hundreds of thousands on their unders. It's like, I don't know if you've ever tried to place bets with FanDuel or whatever, or any of these big bookmakers. You cannot log in and even if you have the money in the account, place $100,000 bet on a random NBA player under 7.5 points or whatever. Like they will say maximum bet $200.
And then they'll flag you so quick if you try and do something like that again. Like there was a great podcast I listened to, a few months. This is probably almost a year ago now. I cannot remember who it was, but it was basically people who are professional online sports bettors and how difficult it is. And what they basically have to do is they have to handle 100 people that are constantly in a new rotation, because that person will get banned within a week because they instantly pick up on their betting trends, block them out of every website, and then they have to recruit a new person in. Like it is insane how quickly the algorithms will pick up any sort of trend in your betting and instantly block you. Like the fact that people think it's so easy, admittedly, maybe they're still going super traditional through like mafia bookies, but very unlikely that there's that much of a connection.
Some of the weird offshore betting ones, right?
Maybe, but I find that more unlikely than them actually like match fixing. So like it's not as easy as people think it is to do those types of things. Like there would be no way a player could go and bet either on himself or another player to have like an over or under on points for a significant amount of money and then ever do it again within 3 months of placing that bet without getting flagged. It would instantly get flagged.
No, 100%. I mean, just anybody, right? If 3 times in a row I bet on the Malik Beasley under with my bookmaker and I won 3 times in a row, they would just not let me bet on that market anymore. They would decide that I have some kind of competitive edge, some not even thinking that there's some kind of
Cheating,
collusion
yeah.
there, just that I clearly have more knowledge than they do, and so they don't want my business at that point.
Yeah.
Like
Which is
it's not,
fucked.
yeah, it's stupid, it's unfair, but
Yeah.
it's the way it works.
Yeah. And that actually what the podcast was about. Wasn't at all about any sort of match fixing. It was, if you are a good enough gambler and you can find value in markets and you take advantage of that, they will then block you for finding errors in the way that they're setting up their odds, which is complete bullshit. I mean, like, it literally is, the house is always going to win, because as soon as you start to beat them by outsmarting them, they just say screw you and they block you, which is insane. But that's the way it works. And I don't think people even realize that. Like, I don't think the vast majority of sports gamblers realize how fixed sports gambling is.
Yes. And how quickly, even if they'll stake limit you on particular. I mean, I've had it randomly, and not by being tremendously profitable, but because I have a tendency at times to bet on, say, U.S. horse racing. And just that, which obviously there's not a huge amount of liquidity in the markets for the British bookmakers that I'm using to bet on U.S. horse racing. If you win a few in a row, they will instantly start stake limiting you, because they'll understand, like, maybe this guy, this is a professional gambler who's really following U.S. horse racing. We are not monitoring our markets as closely maybe as he is. Therefore, we just don't want to take the risk on. Like, he can go and lose that money somewhere else or make that money somewhere else, but we want no part of it. And that will happen if you show any kind of consistent profit on any type of market. They'll love you when you're losing. They won't stake limit you if you just keep losing and losing.
Nope.
But as soon as you maybe show some signs of having an advantage, then they've got no interest in being part of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I maybe he was playing the spread, but that's crazy that just one angry bettor who got burnt causes an internal investigation.
Yeah, and look, it's not a great look for the player. Like, there, you could say there's sort of no smoke without fire to a certain degree. But yeah, it was not. It's probably nothing, but I suppose there could be something. And speaking about that sort of stake limiting, you sent me that story that went viral with FanDuel, a week ago, with the baseball betting, the home run betting, where some guy has a group that people sign up for, and he gives tips, and he recommended like some 7-player combination of everyone hitting a home run. It won and returned odds of like 50,000 to 1 or something crazy.
Something
And
really
then
good.
and then FanDuel came out and said, we're no longer allowing group betting. Like, if we find that you are part of something similar in the future, then we will not pay you out. Which,
Crazy.
as that video points out, they'll then also openly encourage you to do the Gronk weekend accumulator. Like, that's fine, but
They'll make
not
group bets for you that they know will lose, and
Yeah.
encourage you to bet those. But then if you are with a group of individuals who have a good knowledge of bets, they won't allow that.
I mean, Bill Simmons is a good example, right? With his FanDuel, he'll do the Simmons teaser that he puts together. And I also love that, because he'll speak about that like, oh, it's so great. FanDuel boosted the profit on this game by 10%. It's like, yes, stake limited to $20 for regular customers. But then in your profit line that you track in your $1 million bets, it's, you bet $200,000 on that game.
Yeah.
Anyway, any other sporting topics to discuss?
Well, we talked a few episodes in a row about Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are seemingly making moves to put the 41-year-old Rodgers in a better position to fail. They just acquired Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith from the Miami Dolphins for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Overall, a great trade for the Steelers. I am not super high on Jalen Ramsey anymore. I think he's kind of past his prime a little. So last year, Pro Football Focus had him ranked, I think, as the 16th best cornerback in the league, which isn't bad. I mean, I would like to have a top 15 cornerback on my team, but he is not the top 3 shutdown corner that he was 5 years ago. Surprisingly, though, I thought Minkah Fitzpatrick was a little better. Their ranking on him was like the 50th best safety in the league. I feel like you always feel like he's a lot better, and surprisingly, he's older than I thought he was too. I didn't realize he's been in the league so long. So definitely an upgrade for them, because I mean, safeties are so, you can plug and play safeties. A cornerback is so much more valuable than a safety in the NFL. So you're getting a better cornerback than you had, and you can replace a top 50 safety, not much of an issue. And they're getting a pretty good tight end for a team who, like, the more targets for Aaron Rodgers, I guess, the better. So overall, good trade for them. Dolphins players not so happy with that trade. I don't know if you saw a few of them had some Instagram and Twitter posts basically saying that it's just a free for all and everyone's kind of leaving and no one's left on the Dolphins.
Yeah, no, I think we speak about it often, right? Where you feel like you have a championship window and how fast it can close. And with the Dolphins, it felt like they were on the cusp of being very genuine Super Bowl contenders, and now it's done. Like in the space from what, 24 months, it's just all over. You don't know exactly what the situation with Tua quarterback is and how healthy he can ever be. And then most of their other weapons surrounding him are leaving or want to leave. And now it's also question marks about, well, how good is the head coach anyway? The wonder kid head coach that you had, is he actually, all that he's cracked up to be? So yeah, it's tough. But Fitzpatrick gets to go back to the Dolphins, back to where he started his career. So nice for him.
Yeah, sure.
I do think they're both examples of players, though I agree with you, where I think in my head they're better. Both of them are better than they are, because I just remember their sort of prime moments from a few years ago. So in my mind, this felt like a more significant trade than it probably is. And then also, like you, I thought, oh, maybe giving up Minka Fitzpatrick and a 5th round pick, I think, is more than you should give up for Jalen Ramsey. And you're right, it probably isn't.
Yeah, no, he actually statistically hasn't had a great year. Didn't have a great year last year, and the year before was okay. But yeah, I think, and I think what Ramsey probably doesn't have anymore in the skill set and shutdown aspect, he is a perfect fit for that defense in terms of personality, leadership. I think he'll step right in, and Pittsburgh is known for being, kind of that mean defense that's going to hit you in the face and talk a lot of shit. And I think he'll fit in perfectly there. So I think that's actually a great fit for them. And I think that's a really good pickup for them. I mean, but the issue is with Pittsburgh, right? It's never their defense. Their defense is not the issue. Like, you don't pass up on upgrading at a position, but at the end of the day, your defense can hold the team to 10 points, but can you score 11 points? Who knows? And I still don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be the answer to that. So we're going to have to wait and see.
No, that's true. Does it make you feel, speaking of teams in that division, though, does it make you feel better about the future of Shedeur Sanders, knowing that Deshaun Watson came out and said that he is mentoring Shedeur Sanders?
Oh, God.
That sounds great.
What do you say if you're Shedeur Sanders? Now, let's say next day, a reporter asks you, "Hey, we heard Deshaun Watson said he's mentoring you. What's happening?"
You want me to give the actual answer if I'm him? Like
if you're him,
I'm asking my answer would be something along the lines of, I'm asking every player on this team, especially all of the experienced players, for any advice and guidance that they can provide me with. And Deshaun Watson's given me some useful tips, like him and Joe Flacco. It's great to have experienced quarterbacks who I can go to get a better understanding of what the roles and responsibility are, and to help me get up to speed as fast as possible. So I'm happy for his help, and I'm really happy for Joe Flacco's help as well. I would make sure to include
other people.
Yeah, and make it clear that you're not just going to him. And I might also say, because he's spoken to Tom Brady a lot, and they've done a lot of sort of public discussions with him and his dad and Tom Brady. And I've also been really fortunate that Tom Brady has been providing me with tips and guidance throughout my college career and as I'm transitioning to the pros. I would stress that there's...
Although I haven't been able to get a hold of him. They say he's been motorboating for 3 days straight now.
In Venice. Motorboating the canals of Venice.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No, I think I wouldn't be super pleased. And then I would probably have a private conversation with Deshaun Watson and say,
I'll never fucking say my name again.
yeah, do the Will Smith, tell him to keep his name out of his mouth and just say, like, look, I'm trying to avoid any controversy possible. And maybe you're not the player I want to be linked to as a mentor.
Why is he still on the team? Why can't they just get rid of this guy?
Well, isn't it that the injury and just him having his salary paid by insurance is basically the best possible outcome for them?
I guess.
So,
But at
whereas
some point, just get rid. Like, this is a cancer on your team.
it is, but I guess they would argue that the cap hit and just the dead cap from cutting him would be more of a cancer in terms of the impact it would have on the team. But I agree with you. At some point, you would win. You would get some positive feelings within Cleveland and elsewhere if you just said, you know what, enough is enough. We don't want to have anything to do with Deshaun Watson, and we'll suffer in the short term in order to have a better culture within the team. Any other sporting topics? We're obviously getting close to when we will have to do our NFL preseason previews, start that up, and also Premier League preseason previews coming up, but not quite there yet.
I have a non-sporting topic, Eddie. As you know, I love a good list, and this popped up on my random searches the other day. It's the list is, I'll get to the title here for you. It is the most popular toy the year you were born.
Okay. In the United States.
Yes. Do you want to take a guess at the most popular toy the year you were born?
And does this mean it's the most popular toy, but it didn't have to be released that year? Or it's the most popular toy like that came out in, for me, 1987?
Yeah, I think the latter. It's the most popular like new toy.
I don't think I can do well on 87 because obviously I wasn't playing with toys yet. So
yeah, it's true. So I'll give you, so for 86, it was laser tag. And it was like a game. You could buy like guns and the little thing you put on your chest, like the thing that you could shoot. And that was the toy. And I would have no idea because obviously I was born. I'm not playing laser tag out of the womb.
Or even it. What's
no, actually I was.
What's 87? Give me a
87.
clue.
You'll never get it, I don't think.
Okay.
It's the koosh ball with rubbery strands and satisfyingly squishy feel. The koosh ball is a toy and stress reliever. Well, okay.
I had a koosh ball. Not then, but throughout my childhood, I had koosh balls. They were fun to throw around and stuff.
I'll start naming off some of the other ones, and then you start telling me when it starts to hit home for you.
I think I could give legitimate guesses from, say, 93 onwards.
Okay. Do you want to take a guess at 88? It's a very popular thing that was released in 88. Kind of changed. No, that was earlier. That was
Game Boy.
No, close. Rubik's Cube was 1980, by the way.
Nintendo.
Yes, Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, was released in 1988. 89 was the Game Boy. You were close. 1990. Now we're getting closer to something you might remember.
Is this technology or is it a
tech?
Toy?
This is not tech. This is a toy. Toy based off of a IP franchise.
Is it like a?
I had a ton of these.
G.I. Joes.
Close. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures. Had a lot of those. 91 was the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, so the SNES. 92, you might have had one of these.
Is it technology or is it a toy?
Toy.
Furby.
No, that's still too early. Barbie Dreamhouse. Gotcha. 93, this is a classic. It is tech
Sega?
and toy. No, tech and toy and based from a movie where it was something in a movie that then they made the prop into a toy that's a piece of tech. It is I know that clue means absolutely nothing to you, but when I tell you, I basically have described it.
No, I get what you're saying. It's as if when the lightsaber toy came out is sort of what you're saying. I can't think of what this would be,
it's actually, it's a great example. It is the Talk Boy from Home Alone 2. That thing where like he would record and then you could play back at different, like really slow or really fast. I had one of these.
I
the
did
Talk
not.
Boy. 94 is an action figure. Do you want to guess the franchise?
Is this the start of the franchise?
TV franchise. I can be more specific.
TV
Yes.
franchise. Power Rangers.
Yes. Power Rangers action figures, 1994. Hottest toy. 95. One of the weirdest toys to be the most popular toy. It was
Tamagotchi.
literally a piece of cardboard.
Oh,
No, they were cardboard.
I don't know then. On the cardboard.
Pogs.
Okay, I had a lot of Pogs.
So do I. I had a ton of Pogs and the Slammers. A lot of Slammers. Tim, friend of the podcast, Tim, would be so happy. I had the entire WWE, or at the time WWF, Pog collector set. 1996, quite possibly the most famous of the like year of the toy. The one everyone always refers to.
Is it another?
Of like the
Is it another gaming system?
No, not tech. But this was like one of those like crazy holiday toys that people went insane for. It was like the original.
So something along the line of a Furby, but not a Furby.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing comes to mind.
Ooh, I'm sure a lot of listeners are screaming at the recording right now. Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah. By then I'd aged out of the Tickle Me Elmo craze.
But there's all the stories about people like lining up at toy stores and like calling up and seeing if they had Tickle Me Elmos left. It was crazy. 97. You made this guess already.
I made this. Tamagotchi?
Yes.
I will say actually 98 and 99 and 2000. You should be able to get all three.
So one of them's going to be the PlayStation, I think.
No.
Really?
Yeah, PlayStation is not on the list, surprisingly.
Is one of them a games console, though?
No. 98
Confident.
you've guessed already.
Furby?
Furbies, yep. 99, what was super popular right around the turn of the 20th
Y2K?
century to the 21st century.
Wasn't a games console.
Friend of the podcast was a fan of these.
Pokemon?
Pokemon cards, 1999. And then 2000, this is an outdoor related toy.
Outdoor related. Is it like something along a sort of slip and slide kind of thing?
No,
I have no idea then.
the Razor scooter.
Okay.
Everyone had
yes.
those stupid fucking Razor scooters. And then
Also-
after
I
that,
also
I think we
never-
get a little too old.
Yeah, probably.
Then it
I was
becomes
probably
like
already too old by
Brat Dolls, Beyblades, Robo Sapiens, Nintendo DS, Xbox 360. You want to guess what year that was?
04? 05?
05. Yep.
05.
Then it gets a little too techy. Like an iPad. I don't know if does that count as a toy?
That's an interesting thing. I mean, the games already, the issue you have with that list is there's a huge variance between like things for 3 or 4-year-olds versus things for 11, 12-year-olds. So sort of where what's a toy, what isn't. And it surprises me that the PlayStation isn't on that list, because then the other thing would be you would have thought that some of the games themselves would have become the biggest toy. So whether that's like GoldenEye being the biggest toy of the year or Tony Hawk being the biggest toy of the year in the year that they were released, I would have thought they were bigger than anything else that came out.
Well, PlayStation came out in December of 94. So maybe it was kind of like an in-between year.
PlayStation 2, though, was admittedly, I did not know that many people with a PlayStation, because in the mid-90s...
PlayStation 2, you're right. PlayStation 2 is the one everyone had. That came out in the year 2000. Yeah. So the Razor scooter beat out the PlayStation.
Because definitely in the mid-90s, everyone I knew, there was like Sega Mega Drive or Super Nintendo. Like I did not know, I don't think I knew anyone with a PlayStation.
PlayStation 2 stood vertical. That was like a big thing.
That was a big thing.
I know.
We marveled at the fact that a CD, like the disc, could spin while it was on its side.
Yeah,
that was technology moving significantly forward.
Insane.
Because also, I would throw on the list. Obviously, the Walkman would have come out before we started that list, but then eventually, like the Discman, could almost be on that list at a certain point. Like if you're gonna throw games consoles on, definitely if you're putting an iPad on, I think, for example, the first iPod would have been a bigger deal as a must-have.
It's on there.
It is than like
Yeah.
an iPad.
They're both on there. Shout out to 1960 with the Etch-a-Sketch.
Still around.
It is still around. I mean, what's crazy is some of the 1951 is the Mr. Potato Head that's still around. 52 is the Slinky Dog.
Pogo Stick's probably on there somewhere.
Play-Doh and Silly Putty still around. The Hula Hoop came out in 1958. Honestly, you could have told me it came out in 1758.
I mean, some version of it did definitely exist prior to it being turned into a
commercialized as the Hula Hoop. 1958. Easy Bake Oven. When do you think that came out?
67.
63. Operation. 1965. I remember playing that game when I was a baby.
My niece and nephew still play Operation.
There you go.
Still around.
Classic game.
Yeah. The big games I would have played as a kid were Operation Mousetrap. Played a lot of Mousetrap.
Mousetrap was great. Great game.
Yeah. I would play Mousetrap now. Operation, I have to admit, playing Operation with my nieces and nephew, it's more frustrating than it is anything else. Like there's not a lot of rewards. You kind of don't understand why you're doing it in the first place. Like the game isn't that well set up, and it is just more frustration. Or it's way too easy. Like as you've become an adult, there's some of the ones where you're like, I'd have to really struggle to get this out. The Mousetrap, I think I would play a game if I went over to someone's house and they offered me a game of Mousetrap with some beers. I think that would be an enjoyable evening.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Maybe this year's will be Hitster or last year's.
Not a sponsor. We're not plugging them yet.
All right. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's
so.
Just about it.
I finished the Rehearsal.
Okay.
I know you had finished it, right?
I have finished it. Yeah.
Not as great as season 1. I thought season 1 was a little better. I didn't get the big, because I mean, what it seems like now both seasons turn into is he has an idea, and then an idea within that idea comes out, and it like then becomes the season. Like season 1 ends up being about him with the child versus like the whole rehearsal aspect. Like it evolves into like something different. And this one seemingly was that he becomes a pilot and flies a group of people who are okay with him as a comedian becoming a pilot, flying a 737. Like that actually becomes the story. And I didn't find that as engaging.
The issue I have with that too, right, is again, it's the discussion as to what's real, what isn't, how much is it planned. And I don't think it's not organically evolving, right? That was the intent with both seasons. That's where he wants it to go. And he's kind of, you have sort of like side elements that you start with, and then you eventually get to the sort of main plot line, because he's been learning how to fly for over 2 years. So that was obviously where the season was going. But you did have these weird things of, am I trying to fix the airline industry by getting people to talk more? Am I autistic? Am I, is Paramount anti-Semitic? Like all these like little things that kind of spun off from it. And at the end of it, you don't know. I enjoy it. Like it's remarkably creative and unique, and he deserves credit for that.
It is especially definitely unique. Like I don't even know if this counts as television. Like, no, I don't know what this is.
In a world where we don't get a lot of unique things, even if you don't like it, you should at least be happy that it exists and that HBO are willing to pump seemingly huge sums of money into making this happen.
Yeah.
But then there's part of it where it's like the lack of understanding what's real, what's fake, or whatever. That's some of the intrigue, but then it ultimately makes me not know how to feel about it at the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, because for instance, I guess we're going to spoil a lot of this, but at the very end, when he's like, after he does the like big grand finale, he then goes on to say that he's working part-time for like a company flying planes around the world. And like, if that's true, I think that's one of the funniest parts of this story is like, he's a full-time comedian doing season 2. And then at the end of the day, he's just like, yeah, and actually I took like a a full to part-time job at some company. I just fly planes around now, like as a $1 million comedian. Like, I think that's actually really funny.
Yeah, and I mean that seemed true because he had obviously
Yeah.
clips of him and lots of either they really put in a lot of effort to fake that bit for kind of no reason, or it's true. But again, you could just tell me every part of it's fake. You could tell me he never flew the plane. You could, that's just scenes of him in the cockpit. The other guy is always flying. You could tell me all of it's real, all of it's fake. I don't know how to feel, and I like that to a degree, but I also it it just makes it difficult to know what the outcomes are.
Yeah.
It then's strange because he's also, been appearing on CNN and other news outlets, sort of being critical of the FAA for not embracing him more as part of in his efforts to fix the airline industry. But then all the airline experts are like, we already do what you're basically advocating for. We do these simulations. We try and get people to interact, and you're not giving a fair representation of how much people talk or how much whatever. Like, it's just all confusing as to who the joke exactly is on. I think ultimately it's on the viewer at all times, but
Yeah.
it's just strange.
Yeah, I did it's funny because every once in a while you get like a really funny line that will come out of nowhere. It'll be like 10 minutes of kind of just normal discussion and then a really funny, like the one line I really liked in the finale was when he's sitting down these actors and he's telling them, hey, listen, you're going to be on a plane and everything about this is it's like a real flight. You're going to get in, you're actually going to go fly in the air. You're going to be in the air for like 4 hours. You're going to land. You're only, there's two really funny parts. Like, we're hiring you and your line's going to be, I'll take a Diet Coke, please. And that's your whole like line. I think that's like hysterical that like these people are willing to get on a plane for 4 hours and fly and just to say one line. But then when he does the whole like, and I'll be flying the plane, like, is that going to be an issue? And they're like, no, that's fine. It's like, they seemingly don't care that a comedian's flying. And at the very last person that they show, the guy goes, has anyone said that they wouldn't fly? And the guy's like, no, they all said they're fine with it. And the guy's like, fucking actors. That was like a really great line. That was so
And
good.
again, we don't know, like, is that all fully scripted? And I can
Yeah, I
understand
know.
anyway.
Either way, that
I
was funny.
I can understand anyway, right? When you know how like their SAG cards work and qualifying for healthcare and stuff as actors, where you would just say, "Oh, of course I'm doing this because this
Yeah.
is this is a credit that I need towards getting
On
health."
HBO.
Yes,
Like,
getting in coverage, and who knows? Maybe I'll appear in this a little bit more than I thought I would, because obviously some of them are in at a reasonable amount. So you'd think, oh, maybe I am able to kind of show some of my skills off. Most of them are just glorified extras. But
yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know. And I like the moments because obviously you know that lots of it's scripted, but he also does a good job of getting weirdos, of identifying the weirdos to interact with.
Yeah.
I like the moments where you can tell he is surprised by how weird their response is. Like, there's
Yeah.
every once in a while, a couple times a season, he has a sort of like, oh, really? Like, that
Yeah.
that's your thought on this? And those to me, I enjoy because you know how weird he is and how prepared he is for each one of those interactions. And even he is occasionally being taken by surprise.
And he does like he's so good at being awkward. Like that poor old man who was like the head of the FFA safety that he keeps bringing out, he just torments that guy with awkwardness. Like when he comes out and he's like, "Oh, plaid, is that new?" And he's like, "No, I've had it for a while." And he's like, "Oh, but do you wear it a lot?" He's like, "No, I figured I'd throw it on." He's like, "So you're trying something new?" Like he's just making it so awkward, and the guy just doesn't get it. Like he has no clue that this guy is just being a dick to be awkward. It's
But
really good.
that's also the bit I don't know. I don't know how much of that is Nathan Fielder playing an awkward character or just feeling essentially comfortable being himself. Like, is that just the way Nathan Fielder would interact with you if you randomly met him in the street? Like, if you've known Nathan Fielder since before Nathan For You, before he was even, I mean, I think calling him famous is a little bit of a stretch, but like outside of his television roles, is that just are we thinking he's playing some great part? Because that's part of the bit too, which he discusses about in that that's one of the themes of the show is, are you a great actor because you're sort of the outcome of what you're doing is correct, or like do you have to be kind of fooling yourself and acting, or is it just that you are what it is? Like he's calling into question, is he acting, or is this just him given kind of carte blanche by HBO to film his weird interactions with people? And if you turn the camera off, that guy might walk up and that's how he thinks you can kind of interact nicely with someone, is go, oh, you're wearing a brown t-shirt? Is that new? Okay, you're trying something new then. And it's like, okay, that's very awkward. Thank you. But
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's playing the awkwardness up a little.
he probably is, but I would guess not by that much.
All right, anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
All right, I guess with that, we'll call it a day. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Cheerio.